Enormous SUVs like this Chevy Suburban won't fit on European roads. They have narrow streets and limited parking and wind up getting stuck in between two old buildings or something. So having a big car in Europe is not prestigious, it's kind of a pain in the ass. You need 3 spots for that. So that's the reason why there's a market for premium small cars like this Mini developed by BMW. It, along with BMW's other premium small car, the 1 Series, exists for people who live in European cities who kind of want a fun car but don't really want to have to deal with parking a really big car. If you think this Mini's small though, check out the Smart. That Smart is 45 inches smaller. I mean, it's just completely tiny. And like the Mini, it had a rich daddy who kind of financed this development, in this case, Mercedes-Benz. Daimler Chrysler just announced that we're getting the next generation Smart in the US for 2008. And even though this is the first generation that's on sale now in Canada, we kind of wanted to give you an idea of what to expect. Look at how tiny this car is. It fits within the wheelbase of the Suburban with 32 inches to spare, and it's just as light. It weighs 1,600 pounds, which is 1,000 pounds lighter than the Mini, and the Mini is the smallest car sold in the United States. Don't worry though, you can actually fit a lot of stuff back here. In addition to 2 people, you can put in 8 cases of beer, and I'm sorry, that's enough. And on a daily basis, let's face it, what do you have in your car? I mean, you have your cell phone, and you have your iPod, and radar detectors, and Tic Tacs, and lipstick, and whatever. The bottom line is, we don't have all that much stuff in our cars, and for the amounts of money that you save on gas by driving one of these, you could rent that once a month. The Smart isn't nearly as bad to drive as you might think. In fact, it's actually kind of fun. The steering's light, it's communicative, it's direct, there's a lot of room in here. It's like driving a little go-kart, and it's even got a 6-speed sequential transmission with these paddles right here behind the steering wheel. They're good to help you pass the time and distract yourself from the fact that this is a slow car. 0 to 60 takes 20 seconds because it only has 40 horsepower. On the other hand, it gets 60 miles per gallon. Other really small cars like the Mini Cooper work really well around town and are so much fun to drive on the back road. This Smart works really well around town, but it's kind of awkward on back roads. When you're driving a car that's this small, safety is really of primary concern. In a head-on collision with something like that Suburban that weighs nearly 4 times what this Smart does, this had better be one strong little car. And it's somewhat reassuring that Mercedes crash tested the Smart to the same standards that it applies to its own passenger cars. But still, you can't repeal the laws of physics, and this would be a really scary collision. The Smart has a lot of safety features to help it cope with its small size and to avoid an accident in the first place. Things like anti-lock brakes, ESP stability control, dual front and side airbags. It also has a sandwich type construction where the engine will slide underneath the passengers in the event of an accident instead of like through your leg. Because the car is so small, it has a tritium safety cell, and what that means is what you see here in black is really strong cell to protect the occupants inside of an accident. The rest of the car is made to absorb the impact but leave the passenger cell alone. One of the problems with the Smart is for about the same price, you can buy a much bigger Honda Civic. Civic seats 5, and even though it's not nearly as cute and doesn't get nearly as good gas mileage, even in hybrid form, it won't get run over by a large SUV and it won't fall into potholes. With 750,000 of these cars sold worldwide, we know there's a market for them, but we're not sure there's a market in the US. While you're here on the website, check out our feature that we put together, and more importantly, go to the forums. We want to know what you think. Would you buy one of these cars? Is it right for the US? Hey Mike, thank you so much for letting us drive the car. I really appreciate it. We got some good footage and it'll be on the website next week. Right on. All right, take care.